Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan Tate have both been indicted in Romania. Welcome back to the Anthony Spade channel. Before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that notifications button so you can get the videos as soon as I put them out. All right, the statement alleges that the 4 men falsely brought 7 victims to Romania by misleading them into thinking that they were in a real romantic relationship. A grooming technique Tate calls the lover boy method, okay? The women were allegedly around these guys because they thought that they were dating these guys, and the guys used them to lure them into their business. The victims were taken to a house in Lafayette County and subject to physical violence, mental and sexual exploitation. Tate says 3 of the victims are civil parties in the criminal case against Tate and his brother. An unnamed defendant is accused of accessing digital devices belonging to one of the victims and posting pictures of what Tate called compromising poses. All right, what they're saying is that these guys got the girls, stripped them down, took pictures of them, and then threatening to put them out on the internet if the girls did not do what they wanted to do. The indictment provided a long list of properties prosecutors requested permission to seize, including 15 properties, 15 luxury cars, 2 medals, as well as Bitcoin, the virtual currency worth about $385 million. Now, that's a lot of money for the government be trying to seize up. And the reason why they're trying to seize this up is to keep from spending money on lawyers and keep from trying to pay people off. That's why when they do indictments like this, they try to indict all the parties in and their friends, so no one can spend money trying to get them out. That's the fastest way to win a case, is whoever runs out of money is going to lose the case. With $385 million, the Tate brothers with that money can keep going to court. They can keep going to trial to keep everything free for them. But what they're trying to do is eliminate the money. That way they eliminate the power. The Romanian authorities said January that they seized luxury cars and other assets worth $3.9 million from the compound near Romania as part of an investigation into Tate. So they're saying they've already seized up some of the cars from before just to do the investigation. Now they're trying to seize up the entire empire so they cannot have any money at all. The brothers will remain in custody and released on house arrest in March. Tate, a former kickboxer who has built up a massive social media following and sharing his perspective, often misogynist views and roles of women and masculinities. Teachers across the English world speaking beyond have discussed how they dealt with young men who are influenced by Tate's extreme views. He was banned from several leading social media platforms last year, but since has reinstated on Twitter, where he has continued to update his followers on his detention. On Tuesday, Tate retweeted on Twitter account username Tate's News, which says, "Up until now, no judge has reviewed the evidence in the case file. It was all based on arguments to keep Tate's brothers in jail and under house arrest." Okay, what is there to learn from this situation? I keep trying to tell you guys, the higher you go up with success, the more you have to play the game. When you start thinking that you are bigger than the government or you are bigger than the elites, these are the type of things that they do. And the reason why Tate and his brother Tristan kind of went too far on this is because they're trying to pretty much keep the crowd of the bots. They got shaken out of their spot. The same thing happened to Sneeko. He went too far. He got shaken out of his spot. Once you start allowing the bots to have you thinking that you more powerful than what you are, then they will find a way to get rid of you. It's the same as if a cop pulls you over and you really don't have anything wrong. They can find a reason to take you to jail. They can find a reason to give you a ticket if they really, really want to. That's how the government and the elites are, is they're trying to silence Andrew Tate because he's becoming extremely powerful amongst the incels that are online. Granted, I think that they're kind of going overboard with this, because majority of the guys that are listening and following Andrew Tate are the guys that are really doing nothing with their life. They're just vicariously living through Andrew Tate's words. They're not listening to his motivation. They're not eating right. They're not getting up, going to the gym. They're not chasing their dreams. They're literally guys that are sitting at home that's continuously trolling weak guys, and then they go into school trying to act like they're Andrew Tate and they're getting caught up. That's what people are afraid of. They are afraid that young boys are taking on the negative side of Andrew Tate and not taking on the positive side of Andrew Tate. But when Andrew Tate sits down and does an interview, he's always talking about how powerful he is, how motivational he is, how inspiring he is to men, how he don't want guys to be losers. He wants men to man up. But the men that are listening to Andrew Tate, they're not doing that with their life. They're taking on his misogynist sides, what he says about women, how he treats women when he's talking about bad women. He's not talking about good women. But guys only see this as a revenge towards women, because we're living in a world where there's man versus woman. That's what this new generation sees. So they're really trying to eliminate him. What Andrew should have did was just come out and just stay low key for a longer period of time. When he started doing these interviews and these interviews started getting millions and millions and millions of views, the government is sitting back looking and they're like, hey, this guy is starting to gain his power back. We have to do something to slow him down. So now let's put him in trial for the next couple of years. And best believe, this trial can last a couple of years, because when you have $385 million, then you have friends that have $1 billion. Then you have friends that have the same type money that can keep paying lawyers to go in and out. All of this is just one big publicity stunt. I do believe that there's a chance that he may fight it, but what he's going to have to do in order to win, he's going to have to go into silence mode. They want to silence him completely, because they're seeing, even with him being out, his popularity is starting to grow back. And if it grows too high, then he's going to have the mind of the incels that are online that don't know what to do with themselves. The government doesn't want one man to have the power. The government wants to have the power over the one man. See, if you look at Mr. Beast's friend became a trans because that's what the agenda was. And if Mr. Beast was to go against the trans, then Mr. Beast would be canceled. This is how they use popular people to spread their agenda. Unfortunately, when it comes to Andrew Tate, he's not going in the direction of the elites. He's not going in the direction of the agendas that they're set. So they have to eliminate him. Now, let's say he started hanging around trans, LGBT community. He started becoming more sensitive. Then they're going to love him, because ultimately that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get men and men relationships, women and women relationships. You can see how it's being promoted now. And now all the women are promoting it until the guys start playing sports, until the guys start taking the men away from them, until they become a threat. As of right now, in the LGBT community, it's not a threat to those that stop it. So that's the agenda. But Andrew Tate is a threat. It'll take longer for men to become weaker if he's here. That's how they look at it. The objective is to make all men weak, all people weak, so it's easier for them to control him. He's a big threat to their agenda. The moral of the story here, guys, unfortunately, when it comes to life, you have to learn how to play the game of life and not try to outsmart the game. Once you start to outsmart the game will eventually catch up to you. This is Anthony Spade. Hopefully you guys got the message behind the video. Comment, like, subscribe to both of my channels. Hasta la vista.